Good afternoon, friends. Sergey Kromchenko here, the founder of Codemify, QA specialist with more of 8 years of experience in the QA field, as I've been working as the QA engineer, QA automation engineer, lead manager, senior manager, etc., etc., and etc. Regardless of that, today we're going to answer quite a lot of questions of you guys, of our YouTube subscribers and our students from the QA Codemify bootcamp. So before we get into it, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the like button below, as this helps to promote our channel and this helps to people like you to find such a useful content as you are about to see. Let's get started. What are the most important skills for the QA engineer position or a QA automation engineer position? Before we get started, let me tell you one thing. You don't have to have an entire list of these skills. You have to have some of them. And as you're a unique person, you'll have your own unique set of skills. So let's get started. The first and the most important one, the skill that will not only make you a good QA engineer or a good QA automation engineer, this skill will also help you to go from an engineer level to a lead level, to a manager, director, and above. This skill will help you to get a raise and not only to get a job. Because you know why? Because you are responsible. Because whenever you have been assigned a task, you will take care of it no matter what. You will always find a ways and find resources. Because responsibility is the only skill, is one of the most important skills that will help you to become a top level engineer, manager, director, or above. Second most important skill is a problem-solving skill. If you have it, you can become either a good QA engineer or a good QA automation engineer. As it doesn't really matter which path you take, you will always have problems that will need to be solved. For example, in a manual testing, whenever you navigate to the website and the website does not work, there are a couple of things to do. Thing number one, just do nothing and relax. Thing number two, talk to your manager, talk to developers, talk to somebody else. Thing number three, start checking things on your own. This is not only a problem-solving skill because you're trying to solve the problem. This is also responsibility that we have just talked about. And regarding automation, whenever you are writing code, sometimes you will get into conflicts. Those who wrote the code before and work with the GitHub knows about those. And either you will have to solve them or someone else. So if you take responsibility, if you solve this problem, it will show you the next level of being not only a good QA automation engineer, but also a top level QA automation engineer. Skill number three, being picky. Being picky is quite an interesting skill to have because some people are and some people not. I'm not very picky, to be honest, but I can be if I need to be. And QA engineer or automation engineer position is the one that kind of requires it, I would say preferably. Because whenever you're a manual QA engineer or a QA tester, you navigate to the website and you do need to be picky about the size of an image. You do need to be picky about the size of the text and the font. You do need to be picky about the location of those images, because if something is a little bit tipped or rotated, and you don't enjoy it, it's kind of, you could, if you would be picky, you could say, that's fine, that's not a critical issue. But if you are, you can work for Apple, because at Apple, they try to make things perfect. At Apple, they try to make your iOS, your macOS, your iPhone, your Mac, they try to make them perfect so every single customer would enjoy them and would have an amazing experience. That's exactly why you can go and work for Apple. Same thing with the QA automation engineers. Whenever you are writing code and you have to work with the code of other people. For example, you have 4 teammates in your company. You write code and you're a lead and you show people how exactly it needs to be written. Some people will not be picky. They will put spaces anywhere. They will put extra spaces, extra curly braces. They will leave comments. You will tell every single one of them, hey, that's not the way it works. We should all write clean and high quality code. At the beginning, they might hate it. At the end, whenever they're going to join the next company, during the interview, people are going to say, oh wow, this guy writes amazing quality code. I like it a lot. And they should thank you because you've told them how to write high quality code, because you are picky. It's awesome that you're picky or not, but you should definitely have attention to details. As the QA engineer, you are the last line of defense. You are the person that testing application in order so it would be you and not the actual customers who will find issues. That's why you do have to be very detail oriented or have an attention to details. Just like with the manual testing. Whenever you navigate to a website, once again, if you see something that doesn't look right, number one, with attention to details, you can notice it. Number two, with the pickiness that you might have or might not, you will start talking about it, talk to developers, create a bug report, and yell at the end of the day, hey, can you guys please fix it? I do not enjoy it, neither customers will. Analytical thinking is also important to have, because when you think analytically and you're a manual QA engineer, for example, you have another teammate of yours and who comes and tells you, hey, I cannot log into Facebook, it's broken. No one in the world can log into Facebook. And you would say, hey, calm down, let me test it. You test it, it works fine. So analytically thinking, it is a problem with his account or her account, not your account, which means not everyone in the world cannot log in, only some people, and maybe it's only this guy, who knows. And what you will do, you will also think, maybe I should try it with another account. So you create a new account, you try to log in, and it works as well. So then you say, hey, this is something wrong with your account, let's dig into it. So this is what will make you a good analytical thinker and a good manual tester. If we're talking about a QA automation, you will also write a lot of code and you will use code of other people. And whenever you make a change in someone else's code, you might break your own code or someone else's code again. So you have to analytically think and realize that, okay, where is this code used? If I break it, will it break something else? This will also make you a good QA automation engineer. This one will be kind of the bonus, but this will make you a better QA engineer than a good QA engineer, or better QA automation engineer than just the QA automation engineer. And this skill is called, or this quality is called creativity. Whenever you are creative, actually a lot of students of ours or potential students ask me, hey, I'm a musician or I'm a dancer, I'm a very creative person, I don't think I can stand this job because you have to stay all day or sit all day and type the code or look for bugs. No, that's not a way. If you're creative, you can go for a manual and a QA automation position. For a manual position, you can come up with the different cases of testing. For example, when you're trying to log into Facebook, you can just type in your username, type in your password, hit submit or login button, make sure you're logged in. Awesome, works fine. What if you forgot to type in one letter or made a typo in a password? You should not log in. What if you didn't write anything and you click login? Will it work? Will it log in? Or will it tell you, hey, this field is required, that field is required? What if you have accidentally put 0 instead of O? What if you have switched accidentally from Latin letters or alphabet to Greek alphabet? Will that break the application? Or will you still be able to log in? Or will just tell you, hey, these are wrong credentials? These are good questions to ask, and if you're creative, you will come up with even more cases. That's for manual. For automation position, if you are creative, you will love it, because in the world of coding, you are creating an application. For now, it sounds like you create an app, cool, whatever. You're creating a new entire world. You can probably see goosebumps on not on my neck, but on my skin, because you have so much power. You are creating a world and you're creating a rules in that world. Does it sound powerful? It probably does, and I promise you, you will enjoy it. By the way, if you guys are interested in automation and never done it, we have a free webinar that will tell you about a QA engineer position, a bit of about automation. If you're interested, check it out. Let's move on. Is software quality assurance a good career? Why or why not? I can definitely tell you it is a good career, as I've been in this field for more than 8 years and I've enjoyed it insanely. And quite a lot of other people who have graduated from our school and who are enjoying a QA life now. Anyways, the first and the most important point, it is one of the easiest ways to get into IT for people who've never been there. You can simply take a course and spend from 2 to 6 months, or some people spend 10 months or more. It is up to you. But anyways, if you guys are interested, if you never heard about QA, or if you've heard about it but never had a lesson, you can have a free lesson that we have by following the link in the description below our video. So the point number 2 is salary. It is quite crazy that you can get started within 6 months and then you get $100,000 salary, right? especially for people from abroad. When I came from Ukraine, I was like, $100,000, that sounds insanely crazy. Now, well, that's all right. But for people who get started, that's quite a good salary. Point number 3, the amount of stress that you have is 20 to 25% less, approximately, that's my own analytics, from the devs. Because devs, they do get a higher salary. They do get from 10 to 20% more. In some cases, it's the same salary or even less, but on average, it is 10 to 20% more than a QA engineers. But they do have 20 to 25% more stress than a QA engineers do. So that's what makes QA engineer also a good career for those who want to get started. Why not? Why shouldn't you become a good QA engineer? Why is it not a good career opportunity? I do not know why. If you do know, please leave us a comment below and tell me, because I've been in this field for more than 8 years. I've enjoyed it. All of our students are enjoying it. You tell me why you do not like it. Another question from one of our subscribers on YouTube. How can I become a QA engineer within 12 months? If I've learned some of the development on my own, I enjoy it, but also I like a lot finding bugs. I like a lot finding issues as a QA engineer. Really good question, and if you already have some of the development experience, it's awesome. But you need to polish it, you need to make sure you are up to requirements, up to those job descriptions that we do have on the market. And if you want to become a QA engineer, there are 2 ways to do that. One, follow that video, whichever side it is on. It is video of my own where I explain how you can become a QA engineer on your own. I will tell you what exactly you need to learn in order to be a good one. And the second way, which is much more efficient, which is quite faster, but also you have to pay for it. And the second way is to take a course or to hire some professional from the field who will guide you step by step and explain to you how do you have to do the job and how can you become a QA engineer or a QA automation engineer. Either way, if you would like to learn more, follow the link below this video in the description. How do I switch my career from QA into dev? Really good question, and there are quite a few ways to go. Way number 1 is to learn it on your own and then possibly try to apply for a job or ask your company if you could do the job. The second way is actually a lot of companies will have an official program that will allow you to go from one position to another position after some training, if they have it. For example, I worked for Verizon for 3 years, and one of my teammates have chosen a program there which was called 80/20. 80% of the week you spend, or 80% of your time you spend on your job duties as the QA engineer, for example. 20% you spend on development, so you can learn. And in his case, it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, he worked as a QA. Friday, he worked or learned development. And during the Friday, he would first learn development and then he would apply his skills and try to fix bugs, try to create new features. It took him about half a year or 1 year to go from QA into dev. And then he had officially moved from QA into the full stack software development position, and he was making quite more money. So if you're already working as the QA engineer, ask your company if there is a way to do that. And a third way is simply to take a course or go to university or a college and learn how to do development and then look for the job as a dev. By the way, if you guys are looking for an experienced mentor who can walk you through the QA course step by step and explain you how do things get done usually in a working environment, hit me up by following the link right below this video, as we are starting our next course in just 3 weeks. How can I improve my QA automation skills? So if you already have automation skills and you're not working, you just want to improve them and find a job, or if you're working for the company, actually, if you're working for a company, it's going to be even easier. There are 2 ways to go. Way number 1 is to take the course. Is to pretty much pay experienced person to guide you step by step and explain to you how the things should be done in the best way, how to become more experienced engineer. The way number 2 is to look for projects on your own. If you're working for a company, simply talk to your manager. Ask your manager, hey, what is the way for me to build up my career to become a better engineer, to become a mid-level or a senior level QA automation engineer, or even an SDET? You can simply talk to your manager, as this is the manager's job to help you grow. And also, there's a third way. You could look for projects on your own. You would simply navigate to nbc12345.com and create automation from scratch. But in that way, no one will guide you through and you will not know if you made any mistakes, if this is a best practice or not. So give it a shot. Why do you want to become a QA engineer? It's a good question, but every single person in the world will have their own answer to it. For example, my answer is, I have two clear reasons. First one is, when I worked on the farm, I've learned everything I could possibly learn within 4 years in North Dakota. And then I realized I want to grow professionally, I want to develop my skills, I want to develop my knowledge, I want to get better person or a better version of myself. That's why I've started researching, and a friend of mine actually told me that, hey, you could get into IT. And I started thinking, farmer in IT, that sounds cool, let me try it. Here I am, 8 years after, or 10 years after, already running my own Codemify.com school and helping hundreds of people to find jobs. Anyways, that was the first reason. Second reason was, can you guess what? Money. That's exactly why. It was not a first reason, it's not a most important reason why I did become an engineer or have joined IT. It was the second reason, because most of us, we need money to live a good life, to be happy. Some people need more, some less, but anyways, first and the most important skill, once again, growth, because I wanted to grow, and I hope you do as well. What is the future of the software QA or quality assurance? Well, quite a lot of students ask us before they join our course, and they ask this question: what is going to happen to QA field in the future? Isn't it already getting automated? Are we already getting less jobs? No, no, and no. QA is going to be one of the last jobs automated in this world. You know why? And you know why before last one? Because the last one is a developer. So developer creates software, we test it. If AI is going to replace QA, it means it's also going to replace developer right after. So once again, we're going to be one of the last positions in the world, or one of the last fields in the world that are going to get automated through the AI. But trust me, it's going to take hell of a bunch of time before we get there. One of my favorite questions: I have a 6-year experience, how can I become a QA manager? We should split this question into two parts, US and the rest of the world. Because in the rest of the world, you cannot become a QA manager based on experience, you can become a QA manager based on skills. In the US, doesn't matter if you are antisocial, if you do not know how to talk to people, if you work for a company for a long time, you can still become a QA manager. It might be not all the companies, it might be in most, but I've seen so many cases where it was happening, and I've talked to so many people which have told me exactly the same thing. So if you're from US, thing number one, just work for a company for a while. If you work for the same company 2, 3, 4 years, there is a very high chance you will become a QA manager, even if you're not qualified for it. If you work for a big company, it's going to be harder, because you're going to have a lot of they're going to have a lot of alternatives. You're going to have a lot of competitors who've been working in your team for a while as well. But it's still possible. If you work for a small company, if you're the only QA in the company, you've been there for 2 years, and they hire someone else, very likely you will become a lead and then a manager. And if you want to do it in a more professional way, I would recommend you to take a course, or to hire someone who's done it in the past. Actually, by the way, we have an option on our website, Codemify.com, link to which you can find in the description below. You can find an option to call an expert. You can actually call me and ask me questions that you wanna ask. So you wouldn't have to take the course. You simply ask questions. I tell you what you need to work on. But regardless, if you want to make it fast, talk to an expert, work on your skills, and make sure that you know how to deal with people. Because this is the most important skill. Not how to work with the projects, but how to work with the people. Because when you start working as the manager, or even after you start getting director position, you're gonna spend more and more time with people and less with a project, and actually with the coding. And honestly, I miss coding. I do not code quite a lot, as lately when I was working as the manager, I've been mostly dealing with people, but I wanted to deal with code because it's much easier, trust me. One of the most common questions from our visitors or subscribers from abroad, not from the US. How can I work for a US company from abroad? We did answer this question with Sasha from Ukraine. You can find it by following the link right here somewhere. And also I'm going to tell you right now, there are multiple options. Option number one, you try to find a company that will hire you directly. So you will have to create your own company in the country where you reside, and then you will work C2C or corp to corp, company to company. Option number two, you find a company, a middleman, the company that will help you the company that finds employees on one side and finds employers on the other side. So let's say you are from Brazil and you're looking for a job in US. You simply talk to some company in Mexico, and as that company knows quite a lot of companies in US who are looking for people like you. But when you're working through the middleman, don't forget that you are losing money because working directly brings you much more money, but you have to be experienced and skilled enough to get a job directly with a company. Is testing as important as development? And then if yes, why are the QA interviews are easier than developer interviews? Really good question, but before we get to it, don't forget to subscribe to our channel below, because if you do, this helps to promote our channel, and this helps a lot of people in the world to become a better version of themselves and find this useful content. So not only you, but they would also see it. Thank you. Let's get into the first question, which was, is QA as important, is quality assurance or testing as important as development? Yes, it is, and it's my opinion, because without a QA, we cannot create high quality products. Without high quality products, there is no need for products, right? Who's gonna use the product that breaks all the time? No one, because they're not gonna care about it. But on the other side, without a developer, there is no product at all. No one will create it, so we'll have no job. So think about it yourself and let me know in the comment below and tell me, is QA really more as important as development or not really? The second question was, why then the QA interviews are easier than developers? Let me tell you first thing, it's not always easier, to be honest. I had quite complicated interviews and quite not easy questions in my life as the QA engineer, as an SDAT, as the lead, as the manager, etc., etc., etc. But you're right at the beginning. At the beginner level, QA interviews are easier. But when you go further, you will, as I mentioned, you will get quite complicated questions, and you will sometimes get the same questions as developers will get, because you'll be working as the QA automation engineer. You will be working as the QA automation engineer. You will be working as the software developer in test, which is pretty much side by side with the developer. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. It was quite amazing because we've helped to answer so many questions from so many people from so many different countries in the world. I really appreciate your time, and I want to remind you one more time to subscribe to our channel, as this does help to popularize our content, make it more popular, so other people just like you could share with their friends and help other people in the world to become a good QA engineers. You have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time.